From the Tower of Education and down into Pitt Stadium, where we've had alternating weather conditions today, but right now it's 83 degrees. The wind, as you see, and at times the sun has been bright, at other times very hazy, very humid, very heavy here in the city of champions, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 21-10, starting the fourth quarter. Kangemi. And some pretty nifty running right there by number 34, and that is Brian Davis. Boy, this kid has grown up inside of an hour here today. He started out looking a little tentative, and second carry, he looked like he belonged.
Well, can you see why coaches were camped on his doorstep for months and months trying to get him?
5 carries for 55 yards, including that spinning 26-yard touchdown run. Quentin Jones is now being taken off the field in a wheelchair. He limped off the field, the cornerman for Pittsburgh, so we won't see him anymore today. Matt Stennett on the pitch back. They go to Brian Davis. Turns inside his end, blocking on the right side, and gets himself down inside the 45-yard line to the 43. Mike Ruth, and there's Quentin Jones right there.
Well, that doesn't mean he's necessarily hurt badly. They just want to take the precautions before they do the x-rays and make sure he doesn't walk on anything. So they'll do x-rays and make their determination.
Darnell Stone limps off the field. He had done that once earlier. So they've got a lot of injuries bothering the Pitt Panthers. Tom Brown replaces Stone at the fullback position, running out of the eye. Brown is the man down in the three-point. Brian Davis, and they give it to Brown. Brown embracing the football and getting inside the 40, very close to the 35-yard line. Carl Pelagata and John Galvin, the weak safety, and the linebacker on the strong side making the hit. And there's Tom Brown. Boy, there's some pretty good popping going down on the field as Stewart comes out of there for Pitt.
We talked about the weather earlier. That does have a big effect when you have over 80% humidity, over 80% or 85 degrees in temperature. Anytime you begin to lose more than 3% of your body weight, it begins to have a real electrolytic effect on your system. And they've got to continue to get fluids on the sidelines, but still the heat and humidity can take its toll.
The humidity is varied. It started out at 59%. It's jumped up, and then it's crawled around a little bit. No rain. But it's a warm afternoon, and of course, as we've often indicated, so much warmer or hotter on an artificial surface than it would be if they were playing on a regular surface, a regular turf.
Also should mention that the wind that we spoke of, too, which up in the press box isn't too bad, down on the field, since Pitt Stadium is built down into the ground, I doubt there's much there, Eddie.
It'll have an effect only on kicks when you get that kick up in the air. Look at this guy.
Have an effect on mascots, too.
Yeah, well, this weight program that kind of transcends all kinds of human species, human, animal, whatever you want to call it. They even got the old mascot training these days. Tom Brown, he comes limping off. Tom Brown, 7 carries for 26 yards. He's a gritty kid. Oh, he looks tough, doesn't he? Tom Brown. He's another Pennsylvania product. Boston College. Losing the rushing war, but winning the passing war. And Kangemi now will pitch it back. That's Davis. Davis playing with a lot of poise, and it's Mike Ruth with a little help from Carl Pelagata to make the tackle. Well, I like him.
So let's watch inside. Here comes Ruth, 68. He plays off the block, reads it, and here's his speed. Moves to the outside, gets a little help, but Ruth is the one that knocks Davis out of bounds, as you said, Eddie, with a little help from 49 Pelagata. But that tremendous lateral movement of Mike Ruth is what makes him a sure thing in the NFL.
The total offensive game has gone to BC, but Pitt's starting to move. Davis now 7 carries, 65 yards. This time they give it to Ezekiel Gadsden. They call him Zeke. From Frogmire, South Carolina. Oh, I love that one. I'm going to use that one some more.
You're going to get all sorts of letters now from down there.
That's all right. I love that. I'd like to take you down there for lunch someday.
Eat some legs, huh?
Yeah. Or some wings.
Yeah.
Quentin Jones sprained right ankle. He won't be back. Gladman is doubtful to return to the game with a back injury. So the ranks are getting thin for Fazio. Stennett and Scales. His name is pronounced Fazio, by the way. So pitch back, Brian Davis. And bumped out of bounds. Neil Eiton was there, although he did not make the hit. I believe it was Bill Romanowski. And Boston College now with a man hurt. It might be Bill Thompson, who is down here on the play also. Neil Eiton out of there. I think it's Thompson, the man that ran him OB. And that would be a big loss for BC, this fine young sophomore from Trenton, New Jersey. Boston College bench getting a little fidgety there. Time in their favor right now, 12:04, leading 21-10. And Coach Jack Bicknell is coming over here, but he won't have to come all the way. Pittsburgh getting into the spirit of things here with their cheer group. And BC looking forward to winning this one and getting home against Miami next week at Foxborough in a game that we'll have for you on USA. There's Bill Thompson. Now, a lot of interesting things have developed here today. Number one, I think Sean Halloran has really come of age. Boston College's defense has done a good job against that offensive line of Pitt. And Pitt now starting to move the football against a strong Boston College front line. 21-10. Michael Stewart in motion. 4th and 2. And Brian Davis gets the first down and more. They are 2 for 2 on 4th down conversion.
The crowd is celebrating that first down, but they're not going to celebrate the look on the sideline. As here's the replay for Davis. He picked up the first down, but on the sideline, Charles Gladman is now being taken off in a wheelchair. Again, it's precautionary. But this man, number 34, Brian Davis, is doing quite a job.
He's got 9 carries, 70 yards so far. So he's really chopping up some turf, and he gets it again. And on the call inside the 20 to the 18. A 5-yard pickup. Gaffney and Romanowski. And there's Charles Gladman. Averaging 6.1 per carry coming into this game. He went over 100 yards again today for the 3rd time this season. Unofficially 120 yards, so he's got 103, 163, and 120 for the season. And now Brian Davis comes out. Anthony A.B. Brown comes in. It's a 2nd down and 4. Ball on the 17 of Boston College. And they're hanging precariously to a 21-10 lead. 11:07 to play. And they give it to Darnell Stone. And any one of a number of Boston College Eagles, start with Romanowski. We're there to hit and make the tackle.
Let's remind you one more time the statistic we told you at the top of the show. In the 4th quarter, Boston College has given up 36 points, only scored 6 themselves. And again, with their depth problem, with their defense having to stay on the field as much as they are right now, it's going to be a factor.
Boston College trying to tighten up against Pitt, who's starting to roll up the first downs. That's 20. 1st and 10 on the 13. 10:38 to play. Stennett and Scales. Inside the 10. And that is A.B. Anthony Brown. Another freshman. He's a redshirt freshman. And they're really starting to chop up some yards on BC.
Well, this is where Bicknell would love to be able to take Mike Ruth out for a couple plays, take some of his other defenders, Boza out, take Bill Thompson, Gorecki, give them a little bit of rest so they can play at 100%, because right now there's no way they can as many plays as Pittsburgh has been having.
Darnell Stone and Anthony Brown from the 7-yard line. 2nd down and 4. Where's he going? Carl Pelagata. Free safety, Bill Romanowski hurtling through the air with a tackle. And it was Anthony Brown again. Anthony, but you can call him A.B. for short. Brian Davis comes back, and they love it. Ezekiel Gadsden will come off, or Anthony Brown comes off. Now Stennett will come back for Pitt. Look at the front line. Here are the guys that are going to get the call. John Boza, Mike Ruth, Mike Degnan. And the clock tells the story. It's 21-10. 3rd and 5 on the 8-yard line of the the fourth quarter. Stennett and Scales, the wideout. Stennett in motion. Cut back, and Davis inside the 5 to the 4. An excellent defensive read by Carl Pelagata.
Tell you what, I think he's got the first down, too.
And Bill Thompson, who's all right back in there, made the tackle. Third down, 5 situation. They had to get some yards, and let's see where they are. Going to be close. Fourth down and 1. And remember, they are 2 for 2 on fourth down conversion. You kick here and you go for it.
Oh, you got it. If you want to keep your job, if you want to keep your house from being bombed tomorrow, you go for it.
All right. Wilson and Shuck double tight ends. I just wanted to see what you're thinking about. Anthony. Brian Davis. He did not get in, but he's down very close.
Well, if you catch the second bounce he was in.
Davis now 12 carries, 81 yards. Tom Brown, a big man in that front line there. Or excuse me, Tom Brown, the fullback. I'm thinking of a Tony Brown, their front line on the tackle. As I look down and he's there. Tom Brown, sprained left knee. His return is questionable. So they're having to go with Darnell Stone and Brian Davis. And Conjemi sneaks it across. And we have a brand new ball game. It's 21-16, Boston College with 8:05.
Nothing complicated here. Conjemi on the 6-inch line. Just follows the lead of his front line. And if this extra point is good here, they're going to have to go for 2, because if they go for 2, they are still within a field goal of being able to tie it up. So a touchdown will put them ahead anyway.
15 plays, 66 yards, and they get their play, or their touchdown. Conjemi. And it is incomplete, intended for Darnell Stone, the fullback. So, with 8:05 to play in the ball game, it's Boston College 21, Pitt 16. Lots of excitement at Pitt Stadium today.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Connors, and I'm going to make you a better tennis player. Every month in Tennis Magazine, Tennis, #1 tennis magazine in the world. #1 in keeping you up to date, helping you to enjoy and improve your game with sound and practical instructions from the world's top teachers like Ash, Hopman, Trabert, Vandermeer, Braden, and even me.
With news, insights, and updates on all the top players and on the bright new stars. With Tell It Like It Is articles on tennis equipment, apparel, and vacation ideas. Now you can get tennis at a bargain rate.
Call 800-453-1900 toll-free, and you can get 12 issues of Tennis Magazine for only $9.97, less than half the newsstand price. Call right now, and you'll get free the booklet Jimmy Connors on winning serves and ground strokes. That's 12 issues of tennis, plus the Jimmy Connors booklet for only $9.97. But you must call now, 800-453-1900.
Don't forget, we've got a date right here every month.
It's Boston College 21, the University of Pittsburgh 16. We have 8:05 to play in this ball game. Plenty of time. Pat Viancourt will be kicking off, and he'll kick with a little wind to his back. And Boston College will have in double safety standing back on their own end line on the near side. They'll have Tyrone Taylor.
Don't even need to look at the number on that man. That was the forearm of Mike Ruth.
And on the far side, they will have Tracy Giles. Sorry, Kyle, I was looking at the deep men. Giles, 25. Beats his man to the corner and out of bounds at the 30, and a good return. Troy Washington, one of the tacklers for Pitt. And Nate Hayward was also there on the tackle.
Take a look at Giles and see the help he gets. Tyrone Taylor, 21's in front of him to try to want a little bit of interference. Taylor does a good job of sealing, which allows him to get to the outside. And moves it all the way out to around the 34-yard line.
Sean Halloran now with a lot of work to do. He's got Myalik at the fullback. He's got Jimmy Bell right there, and he gives it to him. And Walter Johnson wraps him up with Dennis Attia, the nose guard. Walter Johnson from Pahokee, Florida, and Dennis Attia from Allentown, PA. A senior and a junior. Jim Bell, incidentally, with 91 yards, 13 carries. There's Big Walter. And they bring Tinsley and Carter in the game, and they bring Johnson and Attia out. Sean Halloran, second down and 8. Come the Pitt Panthers with Tony Wood. And now we got a little shoving match going on down below.
Dennis Attia is pushing himself around, trying to let the people know, let Boston know that this game ain't over yet. On the other side, Tony Wood's number 90 puts Sean Halloran down. And don't tell me that doesn't have an effect on somebody.
John Carter coming from the other side, helping out. Billy Owens has replaced Matt Lavinia as they go to a 5-back set on a 3rd and 8 from the 36-yard line. Melvin Martin in motion. Crowd into it now. Sean Howard. He is tripped up from behind and down at the 39-yard line. Bob Bukowski was the man that tripped him up and stopped for good by Troy Washington.
Well, we're getting ready to see something we haven't seen all day.
This is it, number 1.
Boston College punting.
First punt, Steve Peach. Quentin Jones, or pardon me, Keith Tinsley and Terrell Austin are back to receive. Peach averaging 38 yards a kick and 85, and his first one is not a good one. A little wobbly. And it touches a Boston College Eagle about the 33-yard line. I believe it was Giaquinto. So, we've got some excitement now. 6:53 to play. BC 21, Pitt 16.
The lengths people go to listen to a Delco music system may strike you as a bit odd until you've heard it. Nothing else sounds quite like Delco because it's specifically designed to match the acoustics of your very own GM car while it's still on the drawing board. Delco Electronics delivers sound so true you'll never want to stop listening. Delco designed-in sound. You'll love it too much to leave it.
Soon these streets will be teeming with people, all going after the American dream of success, just like you. Perhaps you should subscribe to the Wall Street Journal before they get here.
Call 800-527-9800 for this new Journal offer. 13 weeks for just $28 with a money-back guarantee. 13 weeks, $28. Phone 800-527-9800 now for the Wall Street Journal.
Anxious Boston College leading at 21-16. We are back in Boston next week. In fact, in Foxborough, where we'll see the BC Eagles against the Miami Hurricanes. And if they do what they did last year, that'll be some ball game. But enough of that for now. We'll be there at 12 o'clock Eastern time. Right now, we got ourselves a beauty right here in Pittsburgh.
Well, they got 6 minutes to pick up 6. The last drive took about 7.5 minutes. They didn't use the pass very much. He still has that in his arsenal. But they were able to drive the ball on the ground.
Brian Davis. Ball starting at the 34-yard line. Chuck Gorecki, one of the defensive ends, will make the tackle.
Shows you what an elusive tailback can do. Excuse me, Eddie. Contact was made in his own backfield about 2 yards deep as it was. He picked up 3, so he made a 5-yard differential with that little dipsy-do.
6:27. Clock is rolling. Darnell Stone replacing the injured Tom Brown at fullback, and Brian Davis at running back with Scales and Stewart the wideouts. Scales to the near side. Stewart to the far side. BC with a 4-man front defensively. Kinjemi over the middle. He's got Stewart, and he fights inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. And the Pitt Panthers are roaring now. Derek McPherson is the tackler.
This was an audible. He saw the single coverage, and he set the pattern up again. As Eddie said, McPherson was the man. McPherson is second-team cornerback. Rory Perriman is the man who normally starts there. So Jimmy smartly picking on the substitute.
Stewart now 3 for 51 on receptions. First and 10 at the 38-yard line. Old electric legs. Brian Davis back there with those electric blue trousers he's got on as Jimmy runs out of traffic and down to the 31-yard line. And there are bodies askew everywhere. McPherson bumped him out of bounds. Got a good comeback block from Randy Dixon. There's Mike Ruth.
Yeah, I'm surprised it wasn't a penalty, really.
Mike Ruth will limp back to the DC defensive huddle. Extended out, Stewart in. Mike Ruth is stunned, and he's come out of the ball game as Dave Nugent comes in to replace him. You don't see that happen very often. 21-16, Boston College with 5:40, but they're back to the wall now. Scales and Stewart, the wideout. Brian Davis, 25 to the 23 and down to the 22, maybe to the 21. Carl Pelagata. And they've got it going as the clock stops with 5:32 to play in the fourth quarter. Boston College leading it by 5.
Take a look on the outside, how they try to play off the block. Unable to do so there. He dips inside and then is able to move to the outside. For Davis, coming up to almost 100 yards now. 14 carries for 94 yards.
He's wearing those electric blue tights, and they seem to help the hamstring problems. All electric legs. Extended and Scales to the wideout. Give it to Darnell Stone. There's a flag thrown on the play. Ted Gaffney, one of the linebackers, was the fellow who made the tackle. There he is, number 57. 21-16. 5:07 to play. And this is a big penalty right here. Boston College on rushing yards, trailing Pittsburgh, but the passing game has belonged to BC.
BC must be closing in somewhere near 500 yards total offense now.
What's the call?
Illegal procedure on the offense. 6 men on the line of scrimmage.
Second time that's happened today. 7 penalties. Close to 50 yards. First and 15 at the 26. And Brian Davis gets back to the 20-yard line. Kyle, an auspicious debut for this freshman who has not played prior to today and is to be the cream of their running backs here in the future.
Well, he needs to buy some dinner for Dixon and Durundo and Petterjohn and Stepnowski and Stein and Tony Brown, all those guys, because the linemen are picking up the first 2 yards. It's allowing Brian Davis then to pick his spot, but the first 2 yards are picked up by the line.
Brian Davis with 100 yards now, 15 carries, 101. Stennett and Scales are the wideouts. Jimmy to throw. Threw it off the wrong foot, put it in the air, touchdown! Chuck Scales.
Single coverage for Jimmy. He looks up. McPherson is out there trying to cover him, unable to do so. Comes back inside, and number 22, Chuck Scales, makes the reception. And Pitt has a 1-point lead at the moment. We've got another injured player on the field.
(22-21).
And naturally, once again, Pitt is going to go for 2 points to try to give themselves a 3-point margin so that a field goal from Boston College would only tie the game.
A 66-yard drive in 6 plays, and it took 2:42. And Pitt has scored 3 touchdowns in a row. And Kyle, what were we saying about time of possession being so important to Boston College?
Here's another look at it. McPherson showing a lot of respect. Scales, a little bit of a move, shows good speed. Just come back to fight for the ball, and when it's up there, it's anybody's ball. And McPherson a little bit late in picking up the quarterback's throw.
Carl Creshpain was the injured BC Eagle. That was just simply Scales against McPherson, athlete against athlete. And Scales won out. Dennett and Scales are stretched out to the right side. They're going for two. 4:11 to play. And Brian Davis tries to go, but he can't. Well, that sets up a very interesting situation. Boston College, if they could get close enough, would put the pressure on the freshman kicker. We'll see what happens when we come back.
Starting now, the fun starts here with Lou, Sally, Rob,
Look who's working rain, orange arm and a Coors Light beer, half a silver bullet each and every
they're
night.
fun.
So before I can do anything, I get blindsided by this lineman named Everett. We call him the Mount.
Mount Everett.
They're human.
Happens to people all the time.
Coors Light, please.
Couldn't handle it.
They make you feel at home.
Arnold Baller. Give me the quarter. Rob, you got a quarter?
And you're invited each and every night.
We're gonna be at the Silver Bullet tonight, sipping on a cold Coors Light, party right. Silver Bullet won't slow you down. It's the most fun place in beer in town. There's no slowing down with the Silver Bullet tonight.
Coors Light beer.
Stay tuned, you hear?
Pittsburgh 22, Boston College 21. The first time that Pitt has led in the ball game since they led 3-0 on the Brasco field goal. Conjemi, incidentally, is favoring his right shoulder. That's been a problem here in the second half. He did not throw that ball well, and save for the fact that Chuck Scales showed some terrific athleticism, it was not a pretty play to watch.
Now Conjemi will get credit for it, but that ball could just as easily been intercepted.
Pat Viancourt will do the kicking off. Little wind at his back. Boston College has Tyrone Taylor near side. Tracy Giles far side. Giles in the end zone. Good hang time. 10, 20, 30. Nice run back by Tracy Giles. He's a freshman, and he has run the ball back well. Michael Hadley, a wide receiver, and Matt Bradley, a defensive end, on reserve here for the Pitt Panthers to make the tackles. 22, 21, 4:06 to play in the ball game. Oh boy, right down to this. Sean Halloran is the quarterback. Mahalik and Jim Bell are the running backs, and Jim Bell on the call. Bill Callahan, Matt Lavinia, Steve Apke, and Bob Bukowski, all in there for Pitt, one way or another.
Most importantly, in Sean Halloran's statistics, no interceptions for him.
Second down and 8. Ball at the 32-yard line. The clock ticking at 3:35 to play. BC trailing it by 1. Sean Halloran. Big rush by Bukowski. And underneath the coverage, he goes to Peter Casparillo, the tight end. A 231-pound junior in Terrell Austin. The nickelback in most situations was in there to make the stop.
A little bit frustrating to complete the pass and still be a little bit short on the first down. So they'll have 3rd and 1. They were using a double tight end set. Both Casparillo and Gieselman were on the field.
22-21. Pitt, 3rd and 1. Ball on the 39-yard line. And Boston College has been stopped on a give to Kenny Bell, the fullback. And there are a whole bunch of blue jerseys down there. Lewis is there, Terrell Austin is there, and off the bottom of the pile is Bob Bukowski, playing his second good game in a row. Jim Turner coming in on a short yardage situation for BC.
Here's another look. A little bit of a surprise, an uneven line, unbalanced line for Boston College. I think perhaps one of the tight ends had set up on the wrong side, and they're going to certainly have to go for it here on 4th down. Boston College, however, is going to take another timeout to make sure they get the play right.
So a timeout call with 2:24 to play in the ball game. Boston College in a cliffhanger with Pitt The Panthers 22, the Eagles 21. We'll be right back.
There's a new truck on the road. It's called Comanche. It's built by Jeep. It's worth a look.
Filling these streets will be...
Come in the Kite Home Center and come home to the quality of Anderson windows during Kite's special order Anderson Window Truckload Sale. You'll get 30% off the distributor's list price with prepaid orders of Anderson windows, including Anderson's high-performance window, the most energy-efficient window you can buy. Order your Anderson windows, doors, and accessories now, or come choose in-stock Anderson windows at Kite's everyday low prices. This sale happens only twice a year, so help yourself to terrific savings during the Anderson Window Special Order Truckload Sale at Kite.
Eddie Doucette and Kyle Rote Jr. We've got a beauty with 2:24 to play. BC trailing Pitt 22-21. Pitt has come back, and they've scored twice in the fourth quarter. A total of 12 points, missing on two two-point conversions. And now Sean Halloran taking the opportunity here to talk to the head official, the referee, Joe Klimshot.
Klimshot is saying we had to wait for some commercial spots to be put in there.
I want to double-check the timeouts remaining in the ball game. They become very important to BC.
Got 2 left for BC, 3 for Pittsburgh.
Boston College trying to run against Bukowski, Atiyah, and Walter Johnson, and they think they've got it. They go behind their big horses, Gowetzky, the center, with Twombly, Trapillo, the guards, and Regent and Weidel, the tackles.
See, they all read a lot of Norman Vincent Peale. They got that positive thinking.
Mahalik.
Fortunately, that's not going to move the ball any.
Mahalik, the fullback, that time. And they're going to bring the sticks in. See what happens.
Well, unless the field is marked incorrectly, they should make it by about 3 inches.
I never argue with a guy who can figure out the percentages on checks for tips in a drop of a hat. Kyle Rote is the best. We got a first down.
Here's a look again at the defensive surge, and what a nice block for Boston College by Steve Trapillo, number 65, as he was able to knock the Pitt linebacker back and give him the room.
That is the biggest first down BC has had today. Maintain possession of the ball with 2:15 to play. First and 10. Halloran with a lot of time and a big rush by Bukowski. Bukowski. And he wanted to give it the dance. And he got into it a little bit there, but not quite what he thought maybe he wanted to do.
Well, you know, we talked about Bukowski taking 17 pounds off of his weight. He's at 258 now, played last year at 275. He said he wanted to be a little bit faster, and there's a good example of what that speed has added to his game.
Second down and 10. Ball just shy of the 40-yard line. Sean Halloran trips, blind side, and almost threw an interception. Blind side. Oh, they had him coming there, didn't they?
Terrell Austin is the one, excuse me, Eddie, that really did the damage.
Number 40 was also in there, and that's Dennis Atiyah, the nose guard, who's done a nice job. And so it's a third down situation, and a must third down. Boston College has converted on 5 of 10. Martin and Waddle are the wideouts. Halloran with his biggest test of the day right here. 5 back set defensively. Good time, and complete.
Not enough, though.
Not quite enough, and they're going to have to try another fourth down situation. That's Waddle. Boy, he's a tough kid. A freshman. Waddle is from Cincinnati and Moeller High.
What a great day that Halloran's having, but if I have one criticism, it is, as Bicknell's going to take another timeout, is that he doesn't anticipate when players are going to be open. If he had thrown the ball on the break, they would have had the first down, but because the receiver had to fight back towards the quarterback when the reception was finally made, he was not up to the first down marker.
Experience, that's what it's called, or lack of it. We have a 22-21 Pitt lead with 1:34 to play. And with this opportunity, Halloran will head over to the sideline, talk to his people. He is now unofficially 25 of 35 for 349 yards. His best game ever as a passer. And now the question is, he's going to have to dig down deep into the socks to come out with his best effort yet as a leader. We're right back with the BC Eagles next week, and we will be at Foxborough. And it'll be Boston College and Miami. And hopefully you'll join us right here at 12 o'clock Eastern on the USA Network. Well, this has been a good game. We saw Pitt score first on the 23-yard field goal. You saw Boston College come back and go ahead.
Came back with 3 straight touchdowns. We're ahead 21-3.
And Pitt's come back and done the same thing now. And they've scored twice here in the fourth quarter. Boston College is 1 for 2 in fourth down conversion. And Pitt, a team that's coming in, only gave an average of 57 yards to the rush, will tighten up against Jack Bicknell's Eagles.
He took the headsets off because there's no creativity here. And now Pitt's going to call a timeout. They didn't have the right personnel in.
Well, they've been going with a 5 and 6 back defensive set. It has not been all that effective. Might they try and shore it up front? But if Halloran is on the money, he could pick up that defense and maybe find an open spot and get himself a first down. 22-21 here with 1:34, and next week, USA Sports continues to bring you the best of Grand Prix tennis. It's the Trans-America from San Francisco. Defending champ John McEnroe will be there. Kevin Curran will also be there. Live coverage of the semifinals and the finals. 8 o'clock Eastern time. The finals on Sunday at 8 o'clock, right here on the USA Network. 4th and 1. Ball on the 49-yard line. 1:34 to play in the game. Ken Bell comes in. Mahalik comes in. So they're going to bring out the big horses in the backfield. They're going to get the Clydesdales in there to see if they can pick up that first down.
And Fazio's on the sideline telling all of his front line defensive players to submarine to get penetration.
4th and 1. A terrific call by Halloran, and look out! Incredible. What a read by Sean Halloran and a call by BC. A backbreaker with 1:21. And Boston College has gone ahead 27-22.
Well, they may have brought in the Clydesdales, but there was a quarter horse out at the wide spot. That was Kelvin Martin, who takes this pass easily from Sean Halloran. And touchdown city, and he has now broken Boston College TD reception record with his 15th. But more importantly, he's put the Eagles up on top.
Kyle, what a fabulous fake that time by Ken Bell off the play action, and they had it ready all the while. They knew that Pitt was going to be coming with the big guys up front to try and stop the 1 yard, and an outstanding call by Halloran.
Well, got to give Bicknell credit. I don't think Halloran called that. I don't think any quarterback would have enough guts to.
Halloran right now looking at a 400-yard day. And that was some play by BC. And they're going for a pair. Good! Gieselman, the tight end, but a flag down. And now they've got some action on the field. And this could mean that somebody is going to be thrown out of here. Wydell, I believe, was involved. Or Twombly, Darryl Twombly and Atia, the nose guard.
We've got holding against Boston College, but Atia's the one who's the stupid one. He has his helmet off. You should never be in a fight with your helmet off. Of course, I wouldn't want to fight with him with my helmet on.
29-22 with 1:21. And Atia is leaving the game. And I believe that he has been thrown out of here.
We had holding on the offense. On the try, we will penalized that one. We had a dead ball, personal foul against each team. Those will carry over to the kickoff, and they cancel out.
Dead ball foul against each team. Carry over to the kickoff. Cancel out. No penalty will be assessed in terms of marching off the yardage.
Well, they're going to have to march off yardage on the holding, and I think he said they're going to...
On the kickoff is what I was talking about.
Yeah, but he said it wrong. They've got to take the holding penalty right now to take the two-point attempt over again.
Let's see if he corrects himself. Well, he's got the ball spotted now at the 13-yard line.
Yeah.
13. So they marched off the 10 on the holding. They take that here. And now Boston College with a 5-point lead, and they'll go for it. A 51-yard scoring pass. Halloran to Martin has gotten them to this point, and they will not get the 2 points, but flags all over the place. It was intended for Sean Dombrowski. After the linebacker was there, Terrell Austin was there, number 19, in a penalty-marred football game. And this may give BC another shot at it. Oh, that'll drive the coaches wild.
Well, I'm going to guess the ball's going to end up on the 6.5-yard line. Let's see what happens.
There's your scoring drive. 8 plays, 70 yards. Total time, 2:51. Martin, 51-yard pass from Halloran. And Martin and Halloran have hooked up again for a couple of scoring tosses today.
Defensive pass interference. We will repeat the try from the spot.
Repeat the try from the 5.
Take a look again. Terrell Austin is number 19. Dombrowski is 44, coming across. Little bump before the ball got there. Unintentional, but contact nevertheless.
So they take it from the 5-yard line. Then they go to a power I here. They go to the I formation. Halloran. And he gets the 2 points. And is that a big 2? Is that a big 2 points? And how important that penalty is now, Kyle. The mistakes has given Boston College an opportunity to go 7 points ahead when it could have been no more than 5.
Can you imagine the sigh of relief, irrespective of who wins the ball game? I mean, because Pitt still has time. But the fact is that Sean Halloran got the team into the end zone in the same fashion that Doug Flutie did. And had he not done so, everyone would have said, well, if Doug were still here, we would have scored.
29, 22, 121 to play.
Here it is again. Counter option, and rather than pitching the ball, he takes it up and uses his tall 6'4" frame to get into the end zone. His knee did make contact before, or right as he broke the plane of the end zone. I'm surprised one of the Pitt players didn't disagree.
Right now, the comeback of Boston College has more or less at this time diminished the excellent running efforts of Brian Davis, the freshman, and Charles Gladson, the sophomore. Our executive producer for USA Sports is Jim Drake. Our producer today, Gary Dubin. Our director, Billy McCoy. Our associate producers, Stephen Setter, Kevin Landy, Jim Rapley. All these people do a wonderful job. Assistant director, Kathy Hunt. Production coordinator, Barbara Travers. And the executive in charge of production, Dick Ross. We are awaiting the kickoff. Also want to thank the athletic director, William Flynn from Boston, the SID Reed Osling from Pitt, Dr. Edward Bosick, and the SID Jim O'Brien. Dr. Bosick, of course, is the AD. Our spotters today, Jim Urban from Pitt and Regis Babonis Jr. from Boston College. Our statistician was Kirk Swanger. And these young folks have done a terrific job for us. All set to go. Darnell Stone and Brian Davis with Anthony Brown are back for Pitt. Brian Davis. And he slides to a halt at the 24-yard line. Willie Hislop, who was hurt early in the game, but is back in there now and done a good job. And here comes Brian Davis, limping a little bit. And the kid who has had a lot of hamstring problems is limping back to the Pitt huddle. Now they're going to bring in Anthony Brown, A.B. Brown.
I didn't think when he caught the ball on the kickoff return, he didn't hit it full speed.
Now he's coming out of the game, and he's limping. Oh, he may have snapped something again. He's upset. Wide outs to the near side. John Congemi, and brought down. Big rush by John Bosa. He and Mike Ruth congratulating one another. What a huge win this would be for Boston College. John Congemi is down and hurt.
Congemi needs to sue Bosa for whiplash on that tackle.
58 seconds to play. Congemi has had a bad shoulder. It's been bothering him, and they're going to have to make a change here, I believe. At least he's coming over to the side as they look for the timeout call.
Called the timeout. One of the changes this year is that any player can call the timeout. Typically, it's been the quarterback, but now any player can do that, and with Congemi down, it took a few seconds before someone realized that they needed to call the timeout.
9 for 19, not as much as they need. He has had his problem today, no question about it, and they're getting John Politsky, or Joe Politsky, ready to come in. Today's game was brought to you by New Mobile Super Unleaded, the high-octane gasoline with a plus, by Zenith's new 20-inch or 27-inch color television and VHS video recorders. The quality goes in before the name goes on. And by Jeep Comanche, the new truck on the road. Let me tell you, it's worth a look. Sport coats are provided by Tailored Classics from Levi Strauss & Company. 29-22, Joe Politsky, a transfer student from Notre Dame. A sophomore, 6'3", 210 for the first time. First ball throwing, and he laid it out there for Chuck Scales. And it was Garrick McPherson and Carl Pelagata who got over there to make sure he didn't get there. But he threw a nice-looking ball, didn't he?
Yes, he did. It's real tough to come in at this point. I didn't see him warming up on the sidelines to get his arm ready.
Dwayne Malloy, number 8, coming into your picture there. It's Politsky, the quarterback, a Pittsburgh area product. 29-22, comeback football at its best. First Pitt coming off the deck, and then Boston College with a back-breaking 51-yard touchdown pass, Halloran to Martin, and it looks like it might be under glass. Intended for Stennett at the 50-yard line. Neil Eiton and Carl Pelagata are back there to cover up. There's Pelagata. He's a senior from Milford, Michigan, 6'1" and 194 pounds, and they've tested him pretty good today. So John Congemi, who looked like he was throwing with a sore shoulder, he was 9 for 19, could not lead his Pitt team back, but it was Sean Halloran who stepped into the forefront and has made some mark here this afternoon. Unofficially, Kyle, 26 for 36 and 400 yards. And the last one, an electrifying 51-yard touchdown pass to Kelvin Martin, who was on the receiving end of 2 of those, and now we have a whistle with 45 seconds to play in the ball game. Pitt is going to need a big play of some substantial magnitude to pull this one out.
Well, they're not quite in the territory of the field where they can throw it into the end zone. Delay of game against Pittsburgh. So 91 yards away.
With 40 comes Michael Stewart. Malloy is back in. Politsky is the quarterback. He incidentally backed up Dan Marino in high school. So this guy's been around more than a few semesters, even though eligibility-wise he's only a sophomore. How can that be? This guy been in the Army for 5 years or what?
Well, that was the 4th down play, and Politsky's pass incomplete. Means with only one timeout left for Pittsburgh, they can't stop the clock. 39 seconds left for Boston College to kill.
And that's a happy Jack Bicknell. He needed this game, as we said at the top, a pivotal game for BC. And disconsolate Panthers standing there, and there it is, 29-22, 39 seconds to play, and all the excitement you could ever hope for in a college football game has been laid out before you on USA Today. And now they'll go into their victory offense and kind of hang on here, and before they start to shove and push some more, as tempers become a strained. 6'4" Sean has really been terrific.
And what frustration on the sidelines for Coach Fazio. What frustration on the sidelines for Coach Fazio, as he really felt his guys were ready. Just talking to him yesterday, not cocky, but certainly confident. And all the experts gave them about a 6.5 or 7-point favorites role going into this game. And I'll have to say I've really been surprised to take a look at the last victory here in 1971 that the Pittsburgh defense was unable to stop Sean Halloran and the BC offense. That really, to me, seemed to be the key, and particularly in the first half, Boston College not having to punt the ball at all.
This was a tough loss for Pitt because they had been building and rebuilding since last year on that 3-7-1 record. Of course, so much built around a celebration of tradition, all the terrific athletes that they have had coming out of this institution, and they really felt like they were coming back. A fabulous recruiting year, and they played well against Ohio State. They could have won that game. They beat Purdue the week prior to that, and now Jack Bicknell coming in here without his ace running back, Troy Stratford, and he comes up with an unbelievable call on a 4th down situation, 4th and 1, and pulls a 51-yard scoring strike out of the hat, or out of the helmet, which is more apropos. And then they go on a series of penalties on the 2-point conversion and do the score that they had to get them a 7-point lead. And now Foge Fazio is the losing coach in a game that is ticking down 2-1, and it's all over. And some football game here this afternoon. Jack Bicknell, a happy winner, and Serafino Fazio, a disconsolate loser. Final score, 29-20.